Hey there, welcome to today's episode. I want to show you how you can set up your MPCe Expressive Kits expansion for the MPC. Akai have kind of dropped the ball a little bit here, and I think in the background they're probably working on this just because they've moved a couple of things which I'll talk about as we run through. But if you're looking to use the MPE pads or the MPCe pads as they call them, with all of that nice new functionality, by default, if you just turn this thing on and you're playing around with it, it's not that intuitive, particularly if you don't understand the mod matrix, because the technology involved here requires some knowledge of the mod matrix to set it up, to customize it. If you don't have that, which I personally don't, I'm still learning about the mod matrix, it's pretty complex, then you can use this expansion kit where you've got a bunch of preset templates. Now that's all very straightforward, but there's a couple of things. If we go to load, we go here to expansions. You will notice if you bought one of these, they're very generous. They've given us a bunch of built-in expansions, all for free, and they were pre-installed. All except the one that we might want to use, which is this MPCe Expressive Kits expansion, because this is where our templates are located. We click on this one, you'll notice it's got empty template kits. There's other stuff in here, but the templates are going to be the thing that allows people with no knowledge of the mod matrix to use something like, if we open this up, 4 samples or 8 samples or some of the other fun things that you can do with these pads now. The XY axis can have a lot of fun. So this is kind of essential, but for some reason they didn't pre-install it, which is insane because it's the first thing that I think a lot of people want to try out on the new MPC. So in order to do it, you have to download it and transfer it to the MPC. And that sounds straightforward, but there are a couple of things that may trip you up along the way. Now, Akai gave a relatively detailed step-by-step description. This was something that I had to search for. It wasn't really readily available from the Akai site. I didn't see it in my registration or anything like that. It was because I was struggling to find this particular missing kit, and that's how I came across the information. And there was this written guide. I was going to put a link to that in the description so that you guys had access to it. And when I clicked on it this morning, it's been removed. It's disappeared. So I don't know if Akai are moving it to a better location, but at the moment it's completely gone. So there's a few things I want to talk about to help you out as you kind of try and do this. So you want to download this. You download it from your InMusic software center. Throughout this video, I'll flash up a couple of images on screen that are going to help you out. When you buy an MPC, and it could be if you're moving from one of the older MPCs over to this one, you probably downloaded the InMusic software center to get access to some of the content. It's particularly useful if you use the MPC software. We'll talk more about that in a second. But that's what you need. You need the InMusic software center, so the application that you download, it's installed on your desktop, your laptop, whatever it is. The next thing is that you need to have your MPC in controller mode. So it's got to be hooked up to the computer via the USB-C cable. It's got to be connected. Now, don't worry if you don't have the MPC software. A lot of people don't use the MPC software. I don't really. I do have it installed, but if you don't worry about it. It just has to be in controller mode where it's searching for the computer. The only reason we do that is because that's how we get access to the internal storage for the MPC. We've got 128 gigabytes of internal storage where we want to transfer the expansion. Going back to the software center, when you open up the software center, on the left-hand side, you will see a list. One of those tabs will say My Expansions. If you open that up, you will see a list of the available expansions. Now, the important part here is that all of those expansions typically are for use with the MPC software, not for standalone, except this little MPC Expressive Kits. Now you will see this with this same colored little icon. Again, I'll flash up an image on the screen and you'll be able to see it there. But there's one thing you need to know. There is a tiny little arrow, and again, there'll be an image on screen in the top left-hand corner where this icon is. That arrow allows you to choose what you're downloading, and you need to download the standalone version. If you just download the first one that you come across, it is content for your desktop, your laptop, for the software. You want the standalone version, so you have to click this tiny little arrow, just kind of hidden away. Click on that arrow, and then you get access to the standalone version. Once you've got that highlighted, you can do something like right-click and it will say show in browser or show location. You can then download that to your computer. So that's the first step. So again, a little bit of a hurdle there because that arrow is tiny. And if you don't know it's there, it's easy to miss. Once it's downloaded, you then want to transfer it to the MPC. And again, that should be straightforward. We're connected via the USB-C cable because we're in controller mode. And it will probably just have the red screen unless you want to connect to your software. It'll just be sitting with the red screen where it says it's searching for the computer. That's okay. Once this is connected, it will bring up a list of your internal storage, so the drive locations. you're looking for the one that says MPC user. This is also important because there are multiple locations. If you go to the location that is MPC content and you open that up, there is an expansions folder. So of course, your first thought typically is to drag it into the expansions folder because that would make sense. But there is not enough room in that particular folder because it's been partitioned, this drive. So only 45 roughly gig is allocated to those expansions. So they filled it up, which is probably why they didn't install it. But there is another location, so why Akai didn't just install it there and save us the hassle is beyond me. There is this MPC user location, and I'll flash it up on the screen. You want to install it there. In order to install it there, you have to create a new folder, and you have to make sure it's called expansions, just as it's called inside of the MPC content folder. It's got to be exactly the same, otherwise it won't recognize that it's there. When you're transferring it over, once you've got that download on your computer, make sure you're taking the entire thing. So there will be one main folder with the name of the expansion. Take that entire thing and drop it over. Don't take just the contents out of the folder over. You need to take the entire folder over. Once that's transferred and you've got it into the right location, then hopefully you can come out of controller mode, go back into standalone. You might have to reboot, but your expansion should then show up and you'll have access to it. Long-winded, such a pain in the backside. Why it is not pre-installed, it would have saved a lot of people a lot of hassle. For now though, that's how you get access to it. So if you want your templates, that type of thing, that's the way that you're going to do it. Anyway, that's enough information for today. I hope it's useful. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Take care.